Welcome to Pink Kink,
where we are ready to guide you through the wild and wonderful world of kink.
I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
Whether you are a baby kinkster, a seasoned pro, or just here for the entertainment, Pink Kink will help you level up your kink knowledge.
Join us as we share our own wild, sometimes awkward, but always entertaining experiences and spill the tea from our combined 30 plus years in the private and professional kink worlds.
So grab your favorite flogger or wand.
Thank you.
And buckle up. You'll learn, you'll laugh, and who knows, you might just spit out your coffee.
Let's get this kinky party started.
Want more Pink Kink in your life? Join our Patreon and get ready for a whole lot of kinky fun and exclusive perks.
As a patron, you'll unlock access to our private Discord server where you can connect with fellow kinksters and chat directly with us. You'll also score adorable Pink Kink stickers and enjoy a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast packed with juicy tidbits we don't share anywhere else. Plus, get sweet discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and on our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
But wait, there's more.
More?
Our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get extras, such as bonus content and free digital downloads. Oh, and let's not forget, the Pink Standard of patrons will be recognized as producers on both the podcast and on our website, because we couldn't do this without you.
Pink Kink runs on the love and support of our amazing patrons, so join the party today. Visit us at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast or click on the link on pinkkinkpodcast.com.
Today's episode is produced by our electrifying Pink Kinksters. Thank you, Jay, Witcherman, Brianna Lynn, Daddy J, Fabe, William P, Claire, Lady Blooding, Naughty and Nice, Butte Pain, Manda Panda, Kat, Stefan, Shadow Phoenix, Christopher, Brian, Ruby Riot, Enchanted Sparrow, The Wombat, Impact Hazard, Twitch, The Midnight Girl, Sinful, J21, Daisy If You Do, AK Harley Chick, Serenity, Belle, Eric, Lady Affliction, Pumpkin Pie, Ms. Tourmaline, S'more, Hacksaw,
Wee Mad Beastie, Devoted Night, 3 a.m. Thoughts, Crash Override, Iro, Kinky Bear, Spiper No Spiping, Barbie, Navigator Bard, Frost, Coffee and Chaos, Mr. Pillsbury, Peaches, Mighty Owl, Baby Squirrel, Lady and Lex, Chaos Monster, Jessa Lady, Ophelia, Drew, Birchbeard, Lady to Kitten, Cydia Lemon, Noir, Freddie Queen, Princess Ree, Miss Isiv, Godex Bunny, Elysium Rose, Avalia, Gloria, Nora Morapora, and Bricks.
Are you ready for a fun episode?
No.
We haven't done this in a while, and I thought it was time again.
Yeah, but your articles.
I know. So we're doing the In the News, where I go through and I find, let's say, interesting.
Yeah, that's a word for it.
Articles that are kink related that Dar and I have read and we're going to discuss. And I will confess, I keep Dar very much in mind when I pick some of these because I like to fuck with her.
This is Rara sadist brat bitch coming out.
Yes. And so I plan on fucking with her, and just her reaction to this very first article alone just made my little sadist heart happy.
I'm so glad I could be of service.
So are you ready for this?
Mm-mm.
You ready?
No, I don't even, the fucking cover art of this is, I took one look at that and it was like, bleh, no.
I thought you loved this stuff.
No. Let me be clear.
I didn't understand that. Can you repeat that?
I like watching these types of movies.
Okay.
I am not going to fuck it.
All right. Well, let's talk for a minute. So let me read to you the headline of this article.
Good, because I'm not scrolling up enough to get to the headline because that one fucking picture.
Oh, goodness gracious. The headline is, "Why do we want to fuck monsters?"
And my reaction to that is, we don't, or I don't.
And then the subheading is, "Sexual attraction to monsters is more common than you might think. Here we delve into the psychology behind the kink."
Okay, but the cover photo is a messed up zombie with bleeding eyes and it's drooling blood, and I'm so
and a woman looking up like, fuck me.
Yeah, that'd be you. And
no
then,
one. I don't have this particular kink.
I definitely don't. The closest I could ever get to this is the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, and it was more of a personality thing. The fur does not do it for me.
See, now, to me, that's more pet play.
It's more bestiality.
No, he's got fur, and you just want to pet him. So it's pet play.
He's a giant fucking mastiff of a beast. I don't know what the fuck it is.
So
but
apparently there's an actual name because, same like there's a podcast, there's an episode for that. There's a name for that. There's an actual name for a sexual attraction to monsters. And it's called teratophilia.
Sure.
That's
Remember how I said the philia part is the love part? Yeah.
Now, here's what's interesting. They talked about how, of course, it's a spectrum because everything's a spectrum.
Okay,
and
this part actually got me. This was funny.
That they range from what they called rookie monsters.
That's me.
And the ones that they came up with that fell into the category of rookie monsters made me go, huh?
I wouldn't even consider these monsters.
Right? So they included Edward Cullen,
who's a sparkle teenage vampire. So no.
Played by Robert Pattinson.
Not monster.
Legolas.
I mean, okay, wait. Okay, the monster part, vampire. But specifically Edward Cullen, I mean, I would consider the
Brad
monster...
Pitt
okay,
play
exactly.
a vampire?
Yes.
Come on, there's no monstering about that.
Lestat would be the monster. Okay, I would never consider Edward Cullen a monster.
But it's Brad Pitt. Look at him.
Okay, totally different. That's not Lestat. That would Brad Pitt didn't play Lestat. Lestat was
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yes.
Yeah, neither one.
But I'd go for the
Tom
Antonio
Cruise may
Banderas
be
character.
an asshole in real
totally
life,
gay.
but he's still a fucking good-looking guy.
Well, yeah, he used to be.
He's
None of them are that good-looking anymore, except for Antonio Banderas. I'd still take him in a heartbeat.
Okay. Well, I would push Tom Cruise out of my bed because of.
Look, I'd push Tom Cruise out a window. So.
Well, that. Then ready? Then this one, I'm going to just say it and then step back. Mermaids.
Okay, but we skipped over Legolas.
Oh,
you said it, and then we kept talking about.
Sorry,
Legolas. Yeah, no, not a fucking monster. Elves are not vampire. Elves are not in the same category. That is not a monster. That is an alternate human.
See, and here's what I want to know: does Cookie Monster count? That's a monster.
Why would you fuck Cookie Monster? Technically, Elmo is a monster.
Right. But Elmo's only 3, so
Elmo's a puppet.
That's weird.
So is Cookie Monster.
But Cookie Monster's an adult.
But it's a puppet. So he's already getting fisted.
Excuse me. I feel like you need to give a trigger warning if you're going to say something like that.
Okay.
Or what is it? Spoiler alert. That's
okay.
Spoiler
For those
alert.
of you that need to understand this, the characters on Sesame Street, unless they're actually
spoiler alert,
are not real.
Oh my God, darn. For a little, I cannot believe you just said that.
Except for Snuffy. We figured out the Snuffy actually exists.
Well, we did, yeah.
He was in your bed.
Not only was he in my bed, but for those who were at the virtual munch last month, they got a glimpse. He did make an appearance behind my head and wave to everybody.
Yes,
he exists. More people. I feel like the more people who can actually see him and know he exists. And then mermaids was on the list too. And it's
how do you fuck a mermaid?
What the fuck?
How do you fuck a mermaid? How do you seriously?
Well, so now that you mention this,
okay.
I don't know if you would consider this a mermaid. My friend Golden Angel has a book that she just recently wrote, where it is a retelling of certain fairy tales, and she did The Little Mermaid.
Oh, I will read that.
Okay, and the one of the male characters is Ursula's son.
Fuck yeah!
Well, they in a scene.
Oh,
where
tentacles.
Where Ariel's in her human form.
And
Ursula's son, who can also go back and forth between human and he's not
octopus.
Are they octopus?
Yeah.
Okay. Between human and octopus, and there's a scene where he fucks her in octopus form with his multiple tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I normally don't read those kind of books, but having read that one, I understand the idea of there being 8 basic.
It's the suckers.
Things. It's not the suckers. It's just a lot. It'd be like fucking somebody with eight parts.
Yeah, but the suckers go on your nipples, and then you have 2 like go.
Then you got one in the pussy, and then, one in the ass,
and then another sucker tentacle arm on the clit.
Yeah,
and then
you have
get some hickeys.
Yeah,
it's a lot of sensation going on.
So that I do understand where that is coming from. But so like that's one end of the spectrum, and then at the other end.
Wait. This last one. I don't get it.
Okay.
Resand.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
from ACOTAR. I've
I've
never
been to
read it.
ACOTAR,
I've
so-
never read it either. I have no intention of it. But isn't he like a fairy?
I don't know who that is, so I can't talk about that.
But I don't. This is it's in the same category as Legolas. Like I don't get it. That's human adjacent. That's not monster.
Okay. But see, I do understand the fantasy of that. But then they start to bring in things like the xenomorph from Alien,
Yeah. What?
Pennywise,
Cthulhu.
Godzilla.
I don't. Amphibian man. Like what the actual fucking fuck?
Yeah. So they actually spoke to a professor because, like, as with anything else, there's a professor for that to talk to.
Somebody has written their dissertation on something.
Well, if you're going to have to go to all that trouble of writing a dissertation, it should be at least fun. So I can respect that. They said that to them, it's very politically based in the fact that monsters are others and represent marginalized folks. Look, I'm just telling you what they said.
I have a question.
Yeah. Oh, God. That laugh. Yes, what?
We know of a monster that is very other.
An orange one?
Different. Yeah. Are
Yes,
Oompa Loompas monsters?
Oompa Loompa Doompa Dee.
Is
I
the
don't know.
one in the oval? That's a monster. If you've ever.
But that's not a fantasy monster. That's a literal monster.
That's a nightmare monster.
Right. But that's what the attraction is people are attracted to somebody who also is an other and doesn't fit the normal crowd and is different.
This quote here, though, it turns out most people want to fuck monsters. I think that's not correct.
Well, if you're talking about like Edward Cullen, then okay, I can be incorporated into that.
I could go for Legolas.
So I guess we do technically fall into the people who want to.
But that's only if you consider them monsters. I don't. Monster has a very, very specific connotation to me. Human adjacent is not monster.
Right? And Edward was human and then turned into a vampire. So to me, that's very different than an actual monster.
I don't agree with this article like at all. But here's the other thing. I think her sample size is skewed.
Maybe. She also said that monster erotica can be healing. And I'm like, healing from what?
What? From what? Okay. Because it's not merely the shadows of the world we're dealing with. It's our own shadows as well. I think you went a little too deep into that.
It's not that deep.
Wait,
sometimes it's just not that deep.
It ain't that deep. The one person I feel like would be an absolute expert to ask about this in our group, though, is Loso.
Yes. We can ask.
Yeah. Loso's going to have a lot to say when this episode
But
comes
I love,
out.
then they also put it down to overlapping with BDSM. And they talked about like monster romance. And I will tell you, I have seen a definite increase in the romance world with monster romance. I've seen more where you do have like the mermaids, the tentacles, but then actual monsters with horns and stuff.
I did read one of those books, that one that Loso recommended for my birthday episode, The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. There was an invisible man. There was a golem. There was of course, there's always a vampire. There was a sphinx who apparently has what is it? What is it when
those fancy words, those SAT words are too hard for me. Thank you.
And a hooked penis or something like that. And there was like a lot going on with different kinds of monsters with that one. But again, those were to me somewhat human adjacent. Not necessarily. There was like a Frankenstein dude. There was a Jekyll and Hyde dude. That part was interesting.
Well, this one, I thought this was really interesting. Monster erotica and teratophilia is a reclamation of power by showing, no, actually, what you take to be normative is really an abomination. And what you take to be an abomination is actually how the world is supposed to work.
What?
Yeah.
I don't actually understand any of that. Like, what? What you call an abomination is actually how the world is supposed to work?
To me, my having read Golden's book with the tentacles had nothing to do with monster and everything to do with the fact of just sexual pleasure. He's got extra parts that can
extra bits, yeah.
right? So like I could also accommodate that in an orgy. The book that I'm currently reading is a harem, is an MFMM. So the guys do not cross swords, but they all three do her. Like I could accomplish that with the same instead of the tentacles.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
So yeah. So that
Desire prefers the hunt to the kill.
Yeah,
is another quote that confused me.
I mean, maybe for those of you who do like to do monster romance, you can let me know all about it and why. Did this person who wrote this article get it correct?
Yeah, no. So Loso's going to have a lot to say when we post this one.
All right. So next article, I picked this one because 2 reasons. 1, Harry Potter, and 2, hair.
I mean, I can see where you went for that one. I also, the hair sounds.
Well, so this is hopefully if you've listened in order, or at least if you're just newer, we recently did an episode on niche kinks, and hair was involved in part of it. So the headline for this article is Harry Potter star Jessie Cave launches OnlyFans for a surprising kink. Now, I love the name Harry Potter star because I'm like, who's Jessie Cave? Right. I had to look. Jessie Cave played Lavender Brown. And once I read that, I went, oh, right? Okay, now I know who we're talking about.
Now you can look at her face and go, oh, okay, now I recognize her.
Yeah.
I like her eyeshadow in this, by the way, in this picture. It's a good picture.
So apparently she and her husband have a podcast. And she announced recently on this podcast that she has started an OnlyFans specifically to cater to kinks around hair sounds. Now, what's interesting is hair sounds are in quotes. So I'm not sure, like, is she doing toss?
Well, no, because you actually have to say toss.
Well, which, by the way, I have a running theory that that's how I pinched the nerve in my neck.
Oh, no, really? You did toss too many times?
I'm wondering because
Did you do it every time she did it and you watched it 12 times?
I've watched it a lot more than 12 times. I watched it just yesterday.
Oh, my God, rah-rah.
So Ariana Grande talked about the fact that she did hurt her neck during filming from all the toss. So I have this running theory that all the times I toss is maybe how I pinched the nerve in my neck.
I am at a loss for words. Rah-rah. Shame on you.
I noticed you're not arguing with me.
I'm not. I agree. I 100%. You fucking pinched a nerve in your neck by doing toss. I don't pee. Don't pee. She can't breathe. Have you breathed yet? Rah-rah, fucking breathe. Oh, good. There was a little one. Hang on, I gotta go give CPR.
I'm fine.
There's a tissue right here, okay? Here. Wow! We gotta do something other than toss, okay?
I haven't been able to toss since I hurt my neck. I can't even lift my left hand up to flick the hair over to do toss that way.
Okay, well,
I've been tossless.
What? Okay, well, that's our next. That's the one for this episode.
Oh, goodness.
Hang on. I'm on it.
But anyways, so since we did this whole thing about the hair in the niche, I thought this just grabbed my attention. So she talks about, and I do appreciate this, that the OnlyFans page will not be sexual, but fetish content.
See, now that's interesting because fetish means sexual.
I think she meant kink, but
I mean, people think the words are interchangeable, but yeah.
Well, people also, it's not just they think it's interchangeable. They hear kink and they immediately hear sex.
Right. And
they don't necessarily think of sex when they think of fetish.
Why?
Because a lot of people will talk about, somebody might say, oh, well, you have a fetish for pink.
Oh my God, my fucking ex boss said that she has a boot and suit fetish.
Yeah, because she doesn't understand.
And I looked at her and I just wanted to say, I think you need some lessons because I don't think it means what you think it means.
The whole thing, so it really started because she was posting on her Instagram for a while and she noticed, I love it, they put it in quotations, some comments.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what were those comments. So she thought, fuck it, I'm going to do something that is very niche. But it's been really cool to do. And one of the things that I loved about this was, first of all, the fact that even though OnlyFans seems to be associated with pornography, there's really a wide range of content available. So not everything on there is pornography. I know authors who go on there and just read chapters from their books, audio narrators who just read from their books. It's not always porn and nudity and all that. So I really appreciated that. And I love how when she talked about this, she talked about how liberating the whole thing has been.
Well, you know, a lot of people talk about that when they get onto OnlyFans and they do stuff. They're like, oh, yeah, it's totally liberating. I can do this now and I don't feel ashamed of it. And it's like a thing.
Yeah. Well, she talked about it being very empowering because it takes, you know, she's got this reputation as a very straight, prim actress. And it kind of throws that out the window by saying, hey, I've got OnlyFans.
Right.
She said her career was at a crossroads and she'd had so much negative experiences in acting. And then I guess maybe she's doing comedy. Her husband's
a comedian. Yeah.
That she decided to take the leap onto OnlyFans to see why not try something that's just silly and see if I can change my perception, the perception of me.
I just want to know what hair stuff she's doing. Like, is it brushing hair sounds?
It might be, but I don't know how you get the sounds from brushing hair.
Well, you have those microphones that you can hook up to, like, put it on a lapel or glasses or something.
Certain hair brushes to really get a good sound. Because I've done that. I have certain hair brushes.
I know, I have them too.
Big sound. But she also talked about just the financial that, you know, right. She wants to help provide for her family, and she's got apparently 4 children. She wants to get money to fix up the house, to get them out of debt, to put food on the table. And I love this one. She wants to prove to those in the past who have misjudged me that I'm not so sweet.
Oh, well. Yeah, I think it's one of those, like, your character followed you kind of situations.
And I guess she was inspired by Lily Allen, who recently announced she was joining OnlyFans to sell feet pics.
Yeah, that threw me.
And all of a sudden I started to go, I just got my toes done.
I'm telling you, Rara.
Because I have time for more hustle.
Well,
I will say for anybody who is interested in doing that kind of thing for OnlyFans, this is not the sort of thing where you can just go on and just automatically make money. It's
work.
It is work. And you have to be willing to hustle.
I still just want to sell my underwear.
You know, for somebody like this, she comes in already with a name. And she can be in this article's in Elle magazine. So it's not like just in some random little podunk town newspaper. It's in Elle magazine. So she automatically has a lead. And to be able to say, you know, so it's Harry Potter star and pull all those people in. But yeah, she says she's going to try it for 1 year and see how it works and see. I'm sure she's going to make money if she enjoys it.
Well, I mean,
how much work she has to put into it.
She just got hella advertising by doing this article. So,
right. So I had to put that in there because it made me laugh. The fact that since we just had done the niche.
Did it tickle
kinks,
your fancy?
It did. It tickled my fancy so much. Now, the third article, I do need to ask, and I'm guessing I already know the answer to this. So, first of all, you do know who Halsey is, right?
Sort of.
Okay. So, Halsey is a singer.
Mm-hmm.
And Halsey had this. I'm going to first tell you what the name of the article is. It's called Halsey Claims the BDSM and Winks Nightmare it says his new single, but I looked it up and their pronouns are actually she and they, not his. So I'm not sure what the hell this was.
I don't know, misprint?
Yeah. And their new single, Safe Word. And what does it mean? So I actually, not only did I read this article, but I then went and watched the video.
I did not get the chance to watch the video.
The video is not hinting at BDSM. The video is not subtly looking at BDSM. This video is all about BDSM.
Ah.
There is spanking in this video. There is
Isn't she like dressed as a full-blown dominatrix in it?
at different times. Sometimes she's dressed as a full-blown dominatrix. Sometimes she's dressed as a submissive. There is a simulated orgasm.
Okay.
Where she's on top of a mirror on her hands and knees.
Interesting.
In a simulated orgasm. There's no subtlety about this.
Filthy. Absolutely filthy.
Well, I don't.
I'm clutching my pearls.
But some of the scenes in this video are femdom, spanking, latex leather, pony play. There was one, she is suspended by her feet in what we call gravity boots, which I've done. Not a simple thing to do. And the fact that she's doing it and she's singing, though my guess is she's probably just lip syncing
at that point.
But she's still suspended by her feet only in gravity boots. That is not beginning suspension. That's advanced suspension.
Clearly she's done more.
Right? I looked up the words, the lyrics to this song to try to really understand it. And here's, for instance, some of what's said. Oh, can you take it, baby? Oh, can you handle it? Don't tell me what to do. I'm not going to stand for it. I don't got to listen to you. You're not the boss of me. Are you ready to get what you've been waiting for? I'm not a criminal. I'm just a wild child. I got a bad reputation from the fucking around.
Boy, oh
yes,
boy.
sir. No, sir. On all fours.
Boy, oh boy.
I mean, I don't really. The words are interesting. I don't really see what this has to do with safe word, per se.
Do they say a safe word in there?
They
or
don't.
Is it just they call it safe word because it's about BDSM and they thought that was clever?
There's one sentence in all of these lyrics that's said twice that I see where the lyric says, just say the safe word when you've had enough.
Okay.
And that's the extent of it. Now, I don't know enough about her to say she is into BDSM, but I have to imagine she probably is.
Well, she also could just be trying to be edgy.
Right? Now, apparently she has always advocated for sexual freedom and living yours without tapping or prejudices of any kind. And it's something that, and this article is very confusing because they kept referring to Halsey as he. And I really always, obviously Halsey's cis female, but I looked up just to make sure. That doesn't mean just because she's cis female that that's the pronoun they use. And at least according to what I found on Google, they use she or they. I found nothing about he. So I'm really confused by this article, but what do I know? But it's, what I did appreciate. So in the article, they talk about what safe word means, and they called it a security word, which is, I like that. I like that's an interesting way to phrase it. Because honestly, I think safe words are something that should go beyond BDSM. I think vanilla relationships could use the safe word. You're in the middle of an argument with your partner, and you can safe word to stop the argument, and everybody can take a deep breath before y'all say something you shouldn't say and can't take back. So I love the idea of a safe word going above and beyond the kink world.
Can I read you my favorite part of this whole article?
Yes.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a term that are used in BDMS.
Yeah, I know.
A sexual practice that comes out of the margins of the traditional. Fucking edit your shit.
Which is why the fact that they kept referring to Halsey in male pronouns made me think nobody fucking edited this whole thing.
I hate you people that don't edit.
So Halsey herself becomes a dominatrix in one scene, a slave in another scene. There's leather, there's ropes. It is a perfect video for BDSM. I did enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure it was made to prove a point or to just be for shock value.
I'm honestly leaning more towards shock value in this case because the lyrics are bad.
It's a fun video. If I were you guys, I would definitely take a moment and watch it just because it's wild to see our lifestyle just in a standard everyday music video. We don't get that often. But I couldn't resist talking about a song called Safe Word and a video that had all this BDSM in it. All right, let's go on to our next one. Have I shocked Dari yet?
You got me with the first one.
Okay, well, this one I thought was a good one too, especially given what I've been dealing with on Threads with this lovely, and that's sarcastic for anybody who can't tell, book by Tori Woods, and then some of the people who responded negatively to DDLG. This one is actually in the Daily Mail, so we're talking a well-known publication. And this is Sex Experts Bust Myths About One of the Most Misunderstood Bedroom Kinks. They spoke with 2 experts about mommy and daddy kinks in the bedroom. They revealed what the kink is, how it can be explored safely, and what it means. And this article I actually enjoyed. I did not feel that they had
Misrepresented.
I thought they had a good understanding. They actually spoke to 2 different people for this article. They spoke with a psychotherapist specializing in sex therapy and perinatal mental health, and a licensed sexologist and relationship therapist. And so they go over and they explain, first of all, what it is, what the mommy or daddy kink. They didn't really talk about the little so much. They really focused on the caregiver role mostly, where they talked about it's a caregiver or authority role, which I like that
accurate.
They used the term caregiver and not stuck to just daddy, that they said mommy or daddy. While the other partner takes on a more submissive, childlike, or dependent role.
Also kind of accurate.
Right? And this quote, I'm like, hats off to them. This dynamic, when engaged in consensually, can be a healthy and fulfilling form of erotic exploration.
That's what we keep saying.
I'm like, thank you. They talked about how the mommy or daddy takes on a leadership role, guiding, instructing, setting rules, while the submissive partner enjoys yielding to that structure. They talked about it can be explored with praise and affirmation, using language such as good girl or good boy to enhance the dynamic, which would then reinforce the trust and power exchange. They talked about rules and consequences, how it can be light discipline, such as spanking or withholding rewards in a playful or erotic manner. One of them said that the nurturing and aftercare may play a big part in this kink, and that the dominant partner may provide care, reassurance, or physical comfort after intimate experiences, reinforcing emotional safety. And I love this quote. The key to being a daddy or mommy is to give a feeling of safety, caring, and that you're someone who's protective and has their back. I'm like, I could hear the angels singing in the background. No, we got it. Like, I love that description. I think that's exactly, they absolutely nailed it. They talked about this misconception that it only happens in bed, and that most of it actually happens outside of the bedroom.
Yep. Can confirm.
And, because this is, I've never been so excited by an article. They said that it doesn't necessarily indicate unresolved childhood issues or trauma.
True.
Thank you. That many find it emotionally comforting. They talked about that this particular kink has 3 different functions. It's a way to explore power dynamics in a safe, controlled, and pleasurable way. It's a means of experiencing emotional intimacy, protection, or structure within a trusting relationship. And that it's a source of playfulness and erotic novelty, which can enhance arousal and connection. I loved it. It was such a positive article showcasing the DDLG, the caregiver little, whatever you want to call it, kink, as a wonderful, healthy thing that has nothing to do with pedophilia, that has nothing to do with unresolved childhood issues
Lord
or
knows
trauma.
we need more articles like this.
Right? This was like, thank you. I want to hold this up to the rafters and go, look, this is what we've been saying, people. So I was excited by this article.
I could tell.
And I wanted to include it. All right. So this next article this one was interesting. This one is specific to India. This is called From Rent a Boyfriend to Kink Events: How India is Embracing Alternative Intimacy. And the subheading is From Dating Surrogacy to Non-Monogamy Workshops. The intimacy curator is redefining how Indians navigate love, relationships, and physical intimacy. So this is about a new business that this person has started, specifically in India. Now, when I think of India, I think of very traditional.
Yes.
You think of arranged marriages. I've watched The Indian Matchmaker on Netflix.
I fucking love that show. Like, seriously, there are not too many of the shows like the, what do you call them? The reality TV type things that I like. I fucking love that one.
I just love their weddings. Oh my God. They're like actual productions and showcases and gorgeous. The clothing, the traditions.
Mm-hmm.
It is so beautiful.
One of my coworkers is from Afghanistan, and it's very similar. And she's getting married in May. And she was showing us her wedding dress, and we were just like absolutely fucking floored. And she's talking about how they had to send away for it. And she was so surprised that they did it so fast because of the amount of hand beating on this thing. Oh my God. It is stunning. Rah, you would drool your face off.
I just love it. I love it. The wedding is never just like a night.
No, it's like a week.
An entire thing with all these different, there's events for the bride's side of the family and events for the groom's side of the family. So what I know of the Indian culture is pretty much through television, through movies. I don't know how much of what I know is reality, since a lot of it's through fictional stuff. But I do very much get this idea of this whole very traditional. And so this idea that they're trying to bring in some non-traditional ways of love and relationships and physical intimacy is what grabbed my attention and why I brought it. Because I thought, right, we're slowly starting to see in America a little more acceptance of things like polyamory. Things, even just from sex standpoint of threesomes and stuff. Seems to be everybody's. I just watched, speaking of the reality, watched Temptation Island.
Yeah.
And all this guy kept talking about is he wanted a threesome. And it was all he talked about. He got his threesome and then realized he didn't need his threesome as much as he needed his girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
That finally having it, realized it wasn't everything he thought it was. Which, as somebody who's had a threesome, I will tell you, it's not everything you think it is, folks.
No, listen, I've had them too. They're fun, but it's not something that you like have to have all the time. Once you've done it, you're like, okay, I've done it.
Well, it's also like a game of Twister.
Yes, it's complicated.
Trying to fit this part over this part and around this part and making sure nobody's feeling left out, that trying to get everybody included. So it's I understand, but just polyamory. There's a town in Massachusetts where it is legal. I know they're working on trying to change the laws so that not necessarily, I don't know if it's you can marry in a polyamorous relationship, but that the people in polyamorous relationships have legal rights as far as ownership or with children. Remember that one from that Marston movie?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? So the fact that now we're trying to bring that kind of world into such a traditional place as India.
Yeah, so this is something I could see more in Japan than India. That's what it actually, I kept thinking it was in Japan, and then I kept having to go back and go, no, it's India, because of how progressive Japan is.
Yeah. So the company is called the Intimacy Curator, which I love the name alone, who is trying to help people explore the avenues of emotional and physical intimacy in more of a safe, educated, and consensual manner. So as the Intimacy Curator said, the service aims to fill a gap that dating apps, therapists, and matrimonial sites weren't fulfilling. Because that seems to be where, right, the effort is going, is the matrimonial sites or the dating apps.
That's a big, big fucking industry in India.
They talked in the article about how India actually lacks sex education.
I could see that.
That doesn't surprise me for something that to me seems a very, very traditional thing. But let's face it, with the newer generations who have access to the internet, they are now exposed to a lot more. And I think it's a lot harder to maintain that tradition. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how it comes across to me. And so they are getting both individuals who are looking for people, matches, as well as couples who might need therapy or just have something exciting in their life, right? So some of the things that she does is she works with couples and individuals through coaching. They conduct events such as they have their Monogamy Disrupted workshop, Monogamy Disrupted, which is geared toward educating about polyamory and helping with polyamorous relationships. They have what they call worship, which is a kinky play date. I like this one. They have dating surrogacy.
Yeah, that's the one that I thought was interesting.
Where you go out with a coach on a date, and the coach helps you in the date learn what to do, how to do stuff.
It reminds me of Hitch. You remember the Will Smith
Yes.
movie Hitch? It reminds me a lot of that because this quote right here, men have so much more to learn because women have evolved and expectations from men have changed while men have been left behind. And again, that's why it reminds me of Hitch so much because women are expecting so much more and men are kind of like, oh, I could do the same old thing. But in reality, there was a TikTok that I just saw this morning. And in reality, this guy said, listen, dating and flirting in 2025 is me walking up to a woman and saying, I have, oh my God, what was it? I have a 795 credit score and all my hair or something like that. And then the comments were all, say you have a good relationship with your mother while setting boundaries and I'll marry you. And other comments were, you just proposed to thousands of women. Another
the bar
comment,
is so low.
The bar is actually way, way low, and that's depressing. Or say you've been to therapy and I'll drop my panties right now. Or, it's like all of this stuff. And it's like, okay. But this part where it says men have been left behind is so accurate.
Yes, but men have been left behind because it's their choice.
Right. Have you seen the TikToks where the women, oh my God, the women in the suits and the snapping of the suspenders and the tie coming? Oh my God, Jesus Christ. I love a woman in a suit. But they're like, I took a woman on a date the other day and I held the door open for her and she lost her mind. Or I did this common courtesy thing and she went, oh my God. And it's like, men.
Now it's interesting because most of the women I know, the young women, are still, courtesy is courtesy. Whether the courtesy is coming from a male or a female, I will hold the door for somebody.
Well, no, I will too, but I'm saying the bar is so fucking low.
Here's what's interesting, and I know we're getting off this article, but I wanted to talk about this. So for those of you in America, you know what's going on. For those of you who don't live in America, you probably do. I had a great conversation with somebody from South Africa who was like, wow, we used to look up to you guys in America. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, we used to look up to us too.
Here's part of what's happening. Over the years, as women are becoming educated, we're becoming more self-sufficient. We are learning we don't need a man. Doesn't mean we don't want one, but we don't need one. We can do without, we can take care of ourselves. And men are looking at that going, fuck, what if they don't need us, what do we do? And so they're trying to change the laws and the rules.
They're trying to change the women instead of changing themselves.
So that we need them again. They're trying to bring us back to the point where we need them. And, marriages are down. The number of children are down because of this. And so if men's idea of change is changing the women back to what we used to be versus meeting us,
they're making it worse.
It's not going to help them. It is just not going to help them. And it is very frustrating as somebody who is older. And I remember how it used to be. And maybe one of the reasons that I, at almost 60, am not only no longer married, but very pleasantly not married and have zero intention of ever getting married again. Because I am very much in the stage of I don't need a man. Do I want a man?
Rara's like, I got my fucking Hitachi. I'm good.
Do I want a man? Sometimes. Sometimes not, to be honest with you. I mean, not to the point that I'm going to tell Diesel to go away. I like my man, and I like my man's dick, and I like what he can do with it.
Helps that he's talented.
Very talented. Oh, yesterday. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
It was good. I'm just gonna say it was good.
Okay. Yesterday, my man busted out a massager that he got for me that I didn't know about. He said, "Close your eyes," and then I heard this bzzz. I was like, "What?" And he did my whole entire body with this massager.
See, men?
And I drooled.
You see, men? That's all you got to do.
Yeah, just get a massager.
Mm-hmm. But I would think that, right, the battles that are happening here with women and men are probably happening all over the world because women are changing. And even in countries like India, which is more traditional, it's not that the change isn't happening. It may just take longer. But thanks to the internet, they have access now to learning what's going on, and women are becoming more independent. And so, yeah, I'm sure the men are struggling with, like, what the fuck do we have to do? The thing is, we're willing to help you learn.
You just actually have to learn.
You just have to be willing to do this. And this is, I think, a lot of what she's doing with this curator thing. And I love it. And it's, she's saying that there's definitely an increased curiosity around non-monogamy and alternative lifestyles. And I love it. She's saying this, most of what they're finding is that the people who are like 30 to 40 are still want monogamous marriages, but the under 30 crowd, the 20-year-olds, are much more exposed to conversations due to the online presence, as I said, and that they are more interested in polyamory. I mean, I will tell you, in this day and age, with what it costs for rent,
I was just gonna say that.
For what it costs for rent, and a dozen eggs,
instead of a two-person household income, you need at least three.
So I understand why polyamory seems to look good.
We actually have a good friend of ours in our group, that a couple. They purchased their house with his partner, and it's like one of those dual houses that has like the mother-in-law section or the in-law section, and then the main house. So the couple with the kids got the main house part, and then the other one has the
mother-in-law suite,
the mother-in-law side of the house. Yeah. I was like, that's fucking genius.
So the person who's the curator, I think her name is Allie, has talked about that from client experiences. I would say that 70% will have affairs eventually once they get married. And that it's not necessarily done out of malice, but due to like a lack of communication, emotional fulfillment, or unmet desires.
I was going to say, or boredom.
Right? And the whole point being that this idea that if you're expecting one person is going to meet all of your needs, it is not going to happen.
Well, see, this is why I keep saying that I don't do polyamory, but Daddy J and I are monogamish. I get my kinks and my playtime out with other people.
But I would love to see an article at some point, maybe like in another year or two, to see how well the business is doing and if it's taken off and if they're having any luck, because that is apparently they have moved up. They started as just her, and now they've got 30 to 40 event professionals and 6 coaches.
Yeah, that's actually pretty awesome.
So they did 35 events in 2 years with 9,000 plus applications wanting to attend the events, and then over 3,000 actually attending them.
How do you put that on your taxes? Do you just put consultant, or do you put dating coach?
I don't think you actually have to put what it is. You're just an LLC. All right, so our final article, kind of a continuation of our monster fucking.
Yes, why don't we just throw that in there, sandwich it right on in?
Right, well, we started with the monsters.
This is more of a specific monster?
We will end with monsters. Headline, Vampire Dom explores kink and consent with LGBTQ community. So we're throwing it all in. Vampire, monster kink, DS, and queer.
Actually, I think they're trans too.
They are.
Okay.
As a Dom, Captain Milborn taps into their inner bloodlust with love bites. Now, they are a self-identified vampire Dom. I mean, I guess it's kind of redundant. Anything we say we are self-identified. They do go by they. They are trans. The only thing I couldn't tell from this particular article is
whether they're pro-dom or they just are a lifestyle dom.
I couldn't figure that one out either.
Right. But they talk about how they play with the dynamic of pain, pleasure, and a spectrum of sensations. I'm a dom and I work just with subs, but vampirism is a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when they talk about vampirism, obviously they're talking a lot about biting. They do a lot of biting in their scenes. But what's interesting is it sounds like if this is a partner that they're connected to enough, that they are comfortable enough and trust enough, that they actually do bite to the point of blood and consume some of the blood. Now, I wish in this discussion somewhere they talked about safety, bloodborne pathogen safety, and talked about what safety protocols they put in place before this Captain Milbourne is sucking blood. Because my worry is that some Joe Schmo is going to read this article and go, ooh, I'm a vampire dom. I'm going to bite and suck out the blood without ever stopping to think about the health risks involved.
Need to be so careful with that.
In sucking somebody's blood. There's a reason when we deal with blood, folks, that we wear protective gear. So I wish that had been covered in this, and they did not, which is shame on them.
Well, again, they're going for the sensationalism of it. I mean, look at the fucking headline.
Yeah, well, they are, and then even the pictures. Apparently, this Milbourne has also been featured before as an actor and played Dracula in a show. So I think they've really dove teeth first into this Dracula role.
What is it called? The method acting?
Yes, method acting.
Yeah, I think that's taking it a bit too far there.
All right. And so they talk about how sucking their essence or life force when they talk about the blood part of this.
I'm sorry, but my eyes just rolled into the back of my head and got
I know.
stuck.
I'm worried that you can't get them back. They did talk about this, about their very much being into primal play, which to me falls under the category of duh. The minute you start talking about biting,
oh yeah,
you've entered primal into this.
Primal play has entered the chat.
Right. I personally don't partake of the primal play. I am not a biter.
I am, but not like that.
I do scratch, but I do it from a sensation point. I do it from a sensation play. One of my things when I, especially like when I'm demo topping and I go through like during the scene, I say, are these toys okay? And then I'm like, can I touch you with my hands? Can I scratch you? Not to the point of blood and marks, but for sensation. I'm very specific with that.
I do something similar and I say, okay, we have a wide range of sensations that we can go through here. I've got stuff that can tickle you. I've got stuff that can scratch you. Are you feeling scratchy today? Are you feeling like getting beat? Are you feeling kind of light and sensual? Are you feeling like, what are you feeling here? And then they'll, I think I could do some scratchy right now. Okay, cool. That's these.
They talked about how the point of a lot of this is marks. That teeth marks and bruising they described as artwork on the body.
There goes my eyeballs again.
Wait, look, I understand. A lot of us involved in this lifestyle, marks are important, and we want to try to get those marks. And, when you're the bottom and you have them, they're a mark of honor and a memory of all that. And I know as the top, when I can get somebody to bruise and mark, there is excitement. I feel if anything, that's my most primal point. When it's like, that's my mark. Now, when I do it on my friends and stuff, it very much feels like that's my mark of ownership. That's my mark that you belong to me. When I do it from people who maybe I'm not as close to, it's just more of a mark of pride.
Oh, hey, I did that.
Yeah, I did that. But I do joke with some of my friends when I put the R's on them with the evil sticks. I'm like, you are now marked as mine. You are mine to do with as I please, including hurting you. I do know they are not the first person I've heard who identify as a vampire. I do know other folks who do identify as a vampire.
We have some in our community.
We do. I get the idea of the biting. There's lots of people. You are a biter.
Not a vampire biter. I don't draw blood.
So that to me is, for me, the disconnect. I understand the biting and the primal part of it. The biting to the point of blood and then sucking the blood is the disconnect for me. I would have liked in this article a little bit more explanation of what they get out of it, so maybe I could understand it better. When they talk about the fact that they feel feral and horny all the time, and I'm like, whatever. Putting this down to sex and horniness, I think it misses the whole point of all of this. It's apparently they do drag
and they invite audience members to be bitten during their drag numbers, which to me is like unsafe.
Yeah. What if that person has some sort of bloodborne pathogen?
Right? It's you. And what happens if the captain is sick and now you've introduced their saliva into the body, into the bloodstream? Like, there's no safety in this. And I feel like this article just really missed a very important aspect of the safety of it. I'm not saying don't do this, folks. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't do this. I'm saying, being risk aware and setting up a safety protocol to minimize the risks. This one's got a lot of risks. So the captain talks about they want to see kink less stigmatized.
Well, yeah, great. So do the rest of us. But they're glorifying this rather than making it something workable.
To me, it's almost they're turning it into a joke, personally, in the fact that, they are doing it as part of their drag show and they're not taking safety precautions and not talking about the risks involved. It minimizes it. And I don't think that helps our lifestyle.
Well, here, this quote here. Think of it like those rage rooms. You get to destroy all the junk in that space, but there is safety within that. So with kink, you get to let go of all those suppressed feelings. It's not necessarily what it's all about.
I semi like this idea that you get to let go of all these suppressed feelings and compare it to a rage room where you can just let things go. What I don't like is when you talk about a rage room, you're talking about anger and frustration and rage, and you're trying to get it out. I don't want it to be that if you're feeling anger and rage, you get it out with kink.
No, you just go with your angry eyes.
Because the point is you should never kink while angry. That's just not safe. So this one I wasn't as fond of, this article, but I figured we were back to monsters. And it's always funny with my Google alerts because a lot of these things, right? It's supposed to be looking up kink is the word it's looking for. Well, I get things like, so the kink and the plans have been worked out. I'm like, this is not the right kink, folks.
The kink in the hose, a kinkless hose.
Right? Or the Kinks, the musical group. I to get these 6 articles, I went through like 20 emails of Google alerts, which is frustrating. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is always kind of fun to pull these together just because it's something different. If you do come across articles that you would like us to include in this in the news episode, please send them to us at pinkkinkpodcast@gmail.com and let us know about it. We will bring this back probably in a couple more months. And it's been a while since we've done it. It's just one of our regular, like this in Reddit's one of our regular fun, regular things that we like to just throw in there because it's interesting to see how the world is viewing kink.
And keeps evolving.
Always. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a minute of our fun and educational content. New episodes drop every Friday.
If you love what we do and want to help us keep creating, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. You can also support our affiliates to benefit small businesses and us at the same time.
No extra cash? No problem. You can still help by spreading the word about your favorite kinky podcast. Share us with your friends, and don't forget to rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Those 5-star reviews mean the world to us, and those 5-star reviews go a long way in boosting our podcasts through the algorithm and reaching more listeners.
Sign up for our Pink Kink Institute classes. Shop at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique. Stay connected with us on social media. You'll find all the links on our link tree posted in the show notes.
Your support means the world to us. So until next time, stay pink
and level up your kink knowledge.